Hello, wildly crazy people out there. My name is Dragonite. Welcome back to Pokemon White. Last time, we did a bunch of running around Unova, and among other things, fought and defeated the Game Freak employee Shigeki Morimoto in a Pokemon battle. And that was kind of a whole big thing. Today, I'm going to be heading off to, among other things, the Mythicals. And, it's winter here, so the ground on Route 8 is a little bit more icy than it usually would be. Alright, we can do things that way. I did say at the end of the last video that I did a little bit of editing my save file. Which means that, let's see, in my party right now I have the Terrakion that I caught, the Venusian, and the Cobalion that I caught, back, some time ago. And I also have this here Keldeo, which was an event given away through Wi-Fi Mystery Gifts. I think it was a Mystery Gift. I don't think this one was a GameStop event. Way back a long time ago, the summer of 2012, apparently, which was a solid decade plus ago at this point. And there's a couple event Pokemon which we can do things with in-game. So if you enter the Mythicals with Keldeo and the rest of the three Musketeers in your party, there's going to be this little here cutscene taking over. Keldeo seems to want to get out of this Pokeball. I think I will let it out, yes. And so the My Little Pony Pokemon came jumping out, and we've got this old guy, who I believe we met in Mistralton Cave some time ago. That Pokemon, it couldn't be. Bright red mane, a lush tail, and a single noble horn. Which key to market has is still outstanding, but it's just like the old legend. For Keldeo and the three legendary Pokemon of the Unova region, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Venusian, this forest has a special meaning. It seems like it would be best if you knew the story as well. Yes, I will listen to you drone on and on and on. I don't expect you to make this short, but at least you're not going to be. I don't think it's bad as Getsis was. So long ago, when a war between people started an intense fire in this forest, a single young Pokemon was separated from its parents. Cobalion, Terrakion, and Venusian teamed up to take care of this Pokemon. The three acted as its parents and taught it the moves the knowledge and the moves it needs to survive. The young Pokemon grew rapidly and developed a power that surpassed its three caretakers. However, one day, that Pokemon disappeared from the forest. No one knows why. But I think about it. Young ones are always reckless and drawn to adventure. It looks like they are all happy to see one another again. I wonder if these three are trying to teach Keldeo something. So, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Venusian are trying to teach Keldeo the new move, Secret Sword. And I suppose I will. So, Keldeo would like to learn Secret Sword, but can't learn more than 4 moves. Double Kick is pretty useless. Secret Sword, I believe, is one of the, like, the equivalents to, like, Psy Shock. What does this say? The user cuts its long horn. The odd power contained in the horn does physical damage to the target, despite being a special move. So, indeed, this is Keldeo's signature move. This is the, a fighting type equivalent of Psy Shock. What's the one that Mewtwo has that's just Psy Shock but stronger? I can't remember. I think there's a few moves like that now. I think those might have been the only 3 as of Gen 5 though, but I think in the generation since there have been a few more. And Keldeo is going to learn Secret Sword. If it weren't for you, these Pokemon never would have been able to meet again here in the forest that holds so many memories for them. I'm sure they're very happy they were able to meet a trainer like you. And everybody's gonna return to the Pokeball. And that's that. We've now got a special move on Keldeo. If you were into competitive Pokemon in Gen 5, this would have been pretty good. This is a decently powerful fighting type attack. There's a couple special type fighting type attacks that are stronger than this. Aura Sphere comes to mind, but 85 power, 100 accuracy isn't nothing, and the ability to, like, hit for physical damage with your higher special attack is definitely not nothing either. Let's see, what are your stats? Impish nature, you came from a lovely place, faithful encounter at level 15. Your, minus special attack plus defense is your nature, which is, that's impish. That's not great. The justified ability, like the other swordsman, the other musketeer Pokemon, is raises your attack when you're hit by a dark type move, so it gives you a free switch on a move that's not very effective, and it does give you a buff to the physical attack. More useful on perhaps Terrakion and on Cobalion than on Venusian and Keldeo, but hey, I'll take it. Maybe boost the power of Aqua Jet a little bit, but nevertheless, that is the Keldeo event. I think I can get out of here. Actually, can I fly from within this forest? Can I go to the location of the next one of these events that I want to? It seems that I can. I don't know if this is something that a lot of people know about me. A long, long time ago, back when these events were still current, I did, for a time, enjoy, like, downloading the mystery gifts as they went live and, like, recording the contents of the in-game events and, like, making videos on those. And I did that for, I want to say 2 or 3 years before it just started to feel like more of the same thing and I started to lose interest in it. Keldeo was the first one of those that I did. Let's see, I can return all 3 of the Musketeers, I think. We can... It's gonna be 4 Pokemon. Let's see, there is also one with Meloetta. I mentioned that when we passed the cafe here in Castelia City some time ago, and there's also one with Genesect on Route 18. And those aren't the only ones, there's a couple others, but those are the ones that I'm going to do next. Let's see. And I definitely did, for those couple of years, have fun downloading the mystery gift events and, like, participating in the, like, the time-sensitive content and seeing the special hidden cutscenes and whatever, but, like, after a while, it does start to feel like, okay, cool, here's another Pokemon that I'm not going to use, especially after I stopped doing competitive, and, like, keeping track of what those events were just started to honestly become a chore, and I just gradually lost interest, so that's why I stopped pretty much after Gen 6, but... if you come in this this here cafe with a Meloetta in your party. And Meloetta, remember the Relic Song I had forgotten. So apparently, okay, you're gonna try to learn Relic Song. I was gonna say, apparently you only have 3 moves, because it just said you remembered it, and it didn't ask me if I wanted to learn it again, but no, you're level 50, you do have 4 moves. Round, Theater Dance, Psychic, and Close Combat, so that's... Meloetta is a fairly interesting Pokemon. Normal Psychic type, I believe you transform into either a normal fighting or a Psychic fighting type, if you were to use this song in battle. Or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the criteria were. Obviously, it doesn't really matter to me which one of these I get rid of, because I'm not going to use this competitively, but... we can have Meloetta forget Round, and we can have Meloetta remember Relic Song. Which is, what's that? Normal type move, special attack, possibly induces sleep? Is that what it said? I can't remember. Anyway, my mother once told me of a Pokemon that played a melody and danced so lightly that it filled people's hearts with joy. The sorrow darkened the entire world, and the Pokemon lost the melody. Also, at that time, the red shoes were lost somewhere. When you came through the door, I remembered the melody, and the Pokemon that had forgotten how to dance began to step lightly once more. You are the inspiration, you're a mysterious child. Alright, that's fun. Alright, let's see. Just out of curiosity, you have a bold nature, which isn't terrible, because Meloetta seems to focus mostly on special attack. Minus attack plus defense. Your special attack is fairly high. Serene Grace boosts the likelihood of secondary effects appearing. Alright. Definitely something that would pair well with the move that can induce sleep. I don't believe Meloetta was ever a particularly high tier and competitive Pokemon, but it, you don't know Fly. It's an interesting, I'm gonna say it's gimmick of the whole dancing music thing. It's interesting from a narrative perspective, if not a combat perspective. Was there an item behind that dumpster that appeared like briefly in frame when I used Fly and the camera tilted? Anyway, let me go use a Repel and let me head off to the P2 lab on Route 18. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I really do like how Route 18 isn't an enormous route in terms of like square footage or anything like that, but it feels a lot bigger than it is because of the way everything is so like interconnected in certain ways. And that was the wrong one, wasn't it? Alright, I'm gonna want the middle one here. And I appreciate that sort of thing makes routes like Route 18 and some other routes feel a lot bigger than they really are on the surface. A lot bigger than you would maybe think they are just by looking at them. Anyway, here we are in the P2 lab. We can walk in through the door. And if we have Genesect in my party, which I do. Oh, it's just a kid. You couldn't be. The fact that you are here means you came to learn about the secret of Genesect. We, Team Plasma, revived Genesect from a fossil. Then we enhanced the Pokemon with the power of science. It's the strongest Pokemon in history! Sir, there's a good several dozen Pokemon who the Gen 5 competitive tier list would beg to differ you with on that. Anyway. But our Lord N was not interested in this Genesect that we modified by the power of science. Science damages the natural beauty of Pokemon, they're perfect beings. That's what he said. So our research was halted, and this facility was closed. However, the Genesect research is all mine. So if you want to know Genesect's secret, you'll have to beat me in battle. Alright. I don't know what I have on my team. I think I've got mostly a Mew with HMs, a Herdier, and 2 event Pokemon or something like that. So we're gonna fight Scientist Dudley. Alright. You're only level 34. Okay, this shouldn't be too bad. So I've got Fire Fang. I could honestly probably beat you with like pretty much any of my moves at this point, you know. Level 34 versus level 65, but we're gonna use Fire Fang. You're gonna use the Cross Special. Congratulations, you don't even get to attack me with that Clink. That's that. You're gonna send in Clang next. Alright, the evolved form of Clink, also level 34, and I see you only have 2 Pokemon, so you're not gonna have a Clink Clang to wrap things up nicely with, but no matter. Clang is gonna go down, and we have defeated Scientist Dudley. Lost everything. Forgot my duty as a scientist is to make the world happy. So this must be what I get for trying to make a Pokemon into a tool for fighting. I'm going to wash my hands of this Genesect matter. I don't need this anymore. I'll give it to you. So that's going to be the Douse Drive. That is an item that you made for Genesect. When it holds an item like this, it changes the type of the move called Technoblast, so it can always have an advantage. There was another one in my other pocket. That is the Chill Drive, so that'll turn Technoblast into an Ice-type move. And there is a Burn Drive and a Shock Drive, I believe, as well. Do I have to talk to the boxes here? I do not remember what you have to do to get the other items. What did you say? You've given me all the drives. Do I have them? Did you give them to me and I didn't notice? Where's my stylus? That's the Chill Drive, the Douse Drive. Do you not see the Burn Drive or the Shock Drive? I do not remember where you get those from. Are those a different event? Were there multiple Genesect events over time? These drives are version exclusive. Version exclusivity. The bane of every Pokemon player's existence. So you get the Chill Drive and the Douse Drive in White 2. You get the Burn Drive and the Shock Drive in Black 2. Alright, that's cool. So the drives will, as he said, if you give them to Genesect, they will change the type of Technoblast. It's sort of like a nerfed version of the Arceus Place. And I can give you, for example, the Chill Drive, and if I look inside the summary screen, will Technoblast have its move changed on the summary screen, or just in battle? Just in battle. Alright, so if you're holding a Chill Drive, this will be an Ice-type move. Douse Drive, Shock Drive, Burn Drive, it should be fairly obvious what those turn into. Anyway, this is the Genesect. Let's see, what are your stats? You have a serious nature, not great competitively, it's fine in game, I guess. Download, adjust power according to the foe's defenses. That's an interesting ability. I want to say only Genesect and Porygon Z have that ability. Whereas if the opponent's attack, rather, if the opponent's defense is lower than its special defense, it will raise the user's corresponding offensive stat, which is definitely an interesting play. In practice, there's not that many Pokemon that are really good mixed attackers, and certainly Genesect and Porygon Z are definitely more aligned on the special side, but can't fault it for being interesting. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this off here. There are a couple of other special legendary events that I'd like to do in this game. Before I go, I would like to say that, like, I have mixed feelings on these time-sensitive events. It's, in the modern day, it feels like a very, like, live service-y, almost mobile games, like, it has a mobile games feel to it, because, a lot of live service games that do things like this are mobile games nowadays, and Pokemon's kind of already done it, and I feel like when I was younger it was a whole interesting thing, like, oh cool, you can play the game at this particular moment in history and you can get the special Pokemon or whatever, but I feel like after a while it starts to feel like, you know, the more years go by and when these events are long dead, if you want to see particular bits of extra story, especially I think in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver was the most guilty of this, because there actually was like a significant chunk of story locked behind the Celebi events and what have you. But, like, it starts to feel like a little bit of a letdown, because, like, you can no longer see this content in the game without modifying your save file, like I did today. And I don't think it's, like, the biggest problem the gaming faces, but I definitely am not exactly a fan of it. And in particular, when I was making YouTube videos on these events back in the day, I kind of did learn, like, firsthand that a lot of people who play Pokemon do not actually, like, have a GameStop in close proximity to them, and if they want to, like, go to the GameStop and get the Wonder Card for whatever, then that's, like, a 3-hour drive both ways, and that's just something that they can't do because they live in somewhere that isn't, like, near a big urban center that has, like, a GameStop every 2 feet, and that's just something that you can't do, and I'm definitely not exactly a fan of that, and I haven't really been keeping up with Pokemon events in the modern day. I don't know if they're still doing that, but, as much fun as these things can be if you're able to, like, see them in person when they go live, I can't say that I really think it's overall a great thing for gaming to have stuff like this if there's not a, like, backup alternate option for people to, like, do this offline if they want to years and years later. Anyway, that's my soapboxing for today. My name is Dragonite, this has been Pokemon White. Next time, we're going to go say hello to Landorus at the Abundant Shrine, and also perhaps, if there's time, head off to Victory Island for Victini. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all later.